Eyes lit up above the grin as they pull in Quentin's soul, not to devour, but to analyze. Have you ever wondered why we exist at all? What if I told you the universe you live in and the multiverse it resides in is all made of stories? Oh, excuse my manners. Hello, how are you? I hope you are all well. Who am I? You can call me the narrator, and I'm here to tell you the first portion of a story called Black Fate. No, I did not name it after the darkness you see before you. No, I am not in the darkness. The darkness you see is the inside of my eyelids. When I open them, like now, we see the beginning of our story. A sophomore boy named Quentin, sitting on the ledge of his bay window. We look over his head and down into his backyard. Fall leaves blowing in the wind as the trees bend and sway. Early signs of an oncoming storm. Quentin, however, is so intent on scribbling in his notebook under the moonlight to notice the impending loss of his only light source. "Everybody is so fucking happy here, Pop," is the first statement he writes to his grandfather, who he lost this past summer, for he is the only person that would listen if he were still alive. Quentin continues. "I have to go everywhere with a smile on my face. If I rest my face even just a little, perfect strangers will tell me to check my vibe. Can't have a real conversation with anyone either. Like the first day at school during lunch, I managed to not be the awkward new kid eating alone. I actually ate with a small group. One of them being David. He was the guy that ran into me when I walked into school for the first time. Anyway, they got to talking about what they did during the summer. I just mentioned you. He cut me off. Didn't even acknowledge what I said or say they were sorry for my loss. This place gets weird, though. You know how I was happy about the straight A's I was getting for the first time in my life? They're a lie. Teachers just put the tests in a machine that just gives us A's. How do I know? I tried to fail every test I got one day. Still got A's on all of them. I tried to tell David an actual answer to one of the questions on the last math test to convince him that this was a thing. He got mad, started yelling about me being the stupid one. I would tell my parents, but they love the positivity here. He paused with a melancholy sigh and continued to write. It feels like you never existed. Mom never talks about you. I get criticized for not smiling all the time from them too. You'd think they would understand. His pen freezes on the paper as a dark shadow of a bald figure with pointy ears stretched across his notebook. Quentin turned his head, eyes wide, to see the darkness which enveloped his room save where the moonlight lay, dropped down from above the window, morphing into an upside-down head, obscuring half the moon. Then white jagged teeth split the pitch black of its form into an ominous grin, eyes lit up above the grin as they pull in Quentin's soul, not to devour, but to analyze. Utter terror ripples under his skin like 1,000 spider legs running up his spine, wrapping around his shoulders and head. Quentin's eyes widened even more as he became overwhelmed with what he felt emanating from the head, every negative emotion any human would experience in a lifetime. "So, you don't like it here," speaks the sentient darkness. It sounded oddly normal to Quentin, not some low, unnatural voice like something out of a horror movie, but instead husky and rough around the edges, a strange juxtaposition to its otherworldly appearance. As it spoke, the clouds completely obscured the moon, leaving the creature's eyes and jagged teeth the only light source we could see. You'd probably think we wouldn't be able to see what happened next, If it weren't for the fact the creature was darker than the pitch black that filled Quentin's room now, allowing all of us to see it slither down the side of the window, curling its head to one side, one of its pointy ears nearly touching what looked like a shoulder, so it could look Quentin directly in the eye. What if you could change it? Continued the disembodied head. Maybe make those perfect little preppy kids work for a grade for once in their positive little lives. Wouldn't that be fun to watch? Its eyes widen in reaction to Quentin's thoughts. Oh, how will you pull this off? You're good with computers. That grading machine is awfully easy to crack into if you just try a little. No worries, no one will catch you. No need to have a firewall if the little world the computer exists in is filled with nothing but positivity. Its disembodied chuckling faded as its head disappears like a drop of rain into the sea. Thunder and lightning cracked, snapping Quentin out of his trance, bolting him across his room to the light switch, flicking it on. He looked around. No one was there, just boxes piled up between his dresser and the closet. His eyes narrowed suspiciously at the closet door being slightly ajar. He grabbed his phone from his nightstand a few feet from where he stood, shook the flashlight function on. He slowly walked towards the closet door. He flung it open, punching the light into the darkness. Nothing was there. Was it a dream? As he wondered aloud, the light from his phone reflected off of his laptop screen, placed across the room, on a desk at the foot of his bed. A curious and mischievous part of him crawled from the depths of his own darkness, a welcome departure from the positive facade he adorned for the past few months. It cracked a deviant smile. Well, I could look. Nothing bad happens if I just take a look. After he was done hacking into the machine and changing the settings to actually grating everything, he smelled bacon coming from the kitchen downstairs. A bacon sandwich sounds good, he mumbled to himself as he left the room. The moment his door closed behind him, a black blur exploded out of the shadow behind his laptop, flying around the room. A 6-inch black pixie, with a mischievous smile and bright pearl eyes to match, revealed itself as it flew by our eyes. "That's enough," I said. It stopped flying and smiling ear to ear at us. "Now remember," I said to it. "Stay close to him, but don't be seen." It nodded and smiled at us again. "Don't look at us." Its smile was gone as quick as it appeared. Its form disappeared into a streak of a black blur as it hid behind the laptop, once again, waiting. I closed my eyes.